I'll never forget the way my son, Ethan, stood in front of his bedroom mirror, tugging at his collar like it might choke him. 17, lanky, with eyes that always seemed to apologize for existing. Prom was a week away, his first real shot at stepping out of the shadows. No date, no grand plan, just a flyer he'd taped above his desk, the date circled in blue ink next to his comic book sketches. That flyer was his quiet rebellion against a world that called him in VY Cybele. I watched him from the kitchen, my coffee going cold. Ethan deserved to feel seen, even if just for one night. So I made a call. We'd get him a suit. Not some hand-me-down or clearance rack reject, a real suit, the kind that'd make him stand taller when he looked in the mirror. He hesitated when I told him. "Those stores aren't for us, Dad," he mumbled, his voice barely above a whisper. I met his gaze. "No one decides where you belong but you." He nodded, but I saw the fear behind his half-smile, the kind that comes from years of being told you're not enough. That morning, we drove to La Maison Éclat, the boutique everyone whispered about like it was a palace for the elite. Ethan wore his best sneakers, scuffed but clean. I wore my resolve, quiet but unshakable. We didn't know that behind those glass doors, someone had already decided we were out of place. And she was waiting. The air inside La Maison Éclat hit like a slap cool, sharp, expensive. Chandeliers gleamed above marble floors, suits displayed like museum pieces. A piano melody drifted from hidden speakers, as if the store itself was reminding us we didn't belong. Ethan froze just inside the door, clutching a fabric swatch I'd given him. He stared at the mannequins like they might demand his exit. I put a hand on his shoulder. "Walk like you own the place," I said. He laughed nervously. "I don't even own my own bedroom." I smiled, but my eyes were already scanning. No staff in sight, just a woman in the center of the store, gesturing wildly at a row of tailored jackets. Her voice, shrill and commanding, cut through the music. Lydia. I'd later learn her name, but I knew her type instantly. Gold bracelets, over-bleached hair, sunglasses perched indoors. Beside her stood a kid about Ethan's age, broad-shouldered, smirking like he owned the world. That was Mason. Lydia turned as we passed, her eyes raking over me, then landing on Ethan. They narrowed, cold and unblinking. She stepped forward. "You," she snapped, pointing at Ethan like he was hired help. "Grab that navy blazer, size 42, and hurry up." Ethan froze. I stepped between them. "He's not staff," I said, my voice low but edged. "He's a customer." Lydia scoffed. "Oh, spare me. You people love acting like you belong in places like this." My fist clenched. "Take a step back, ma'am." She tilted her head, smirking. "Did you just threaten me?" I said move. I replied, my eyes locked on hers. "That's not a request." Mason laughed behind her. "Someone forgot who runs this town," he sneered. Lydia's smile turned cruel. She turned to Ethan, ignoring me. "Hold that jacket up," she ordered. "Let's see how ridiculous it looks on you." Ethan didn't move, his face flushing with shame. I stepped closer, my voice steady as steel. "Touch him, and I'll break your wrist." Lydia blinked, but only for a second. Then she stepped into Ethan's space, her voice a venomous hiss. "Teach your kid not to stare at people better than him." And before I could react, she slapped him hard. The sound cracked through the boutique like a whip. Ethan stumbled, hand to his cheek, eyes wide with shock. A phone camera clicked nearby. A woman froze mid-step, hand over her mouth. I took one step forward, and Lydia's smirk shattered. The slap lingered in the air, a red mark blooming on Ethan's cheek under the boutique's harsh lights. Lydia didn't flinch. She looked proud. "That's how you handle disrespect," she said loudly, turning to Mason. "These people think they can just walk in here." Mason snorted. "Wanting to finish it, Mom." My instincts roared. I planted myself between them and Ethan. "One more step," I growled, "and I swear to God." Mason grinned, unfazed. "Relax, old man. No one's scared of a guy in a thrift store polo." Lydia laughed, but her eyes were calculating, dissecting me. Then Mason moved. Fast. His boots swung out, slamming into Ethan's knee with a sickening thud. Ethan cried out, collapsing to the floor, clutching his leg. The sound he made wasn't just pine, it was betrayal, the kind that comes from being hurt by people who think they're untouchable. Lydia didn't blink. Maybe now he'll learn his place, she said coldly. That was it. I stepped past Ethan, slow and deliberate, locking eyes with Mason. He smirked, still panting from his cheap VY Tory. Want another swing, tough guy? I asked. What, you gonna cry too? He taunted. I didn't answer. I moved. One step, one motion. I grabbed his wrist, twisted, and yanked. He hit the marble floor face first, the same tiles he'd strutted across like a prince. Gasps rippled through the store. Lydia screamed, "You animal! You broke my son!" I turned to her, fire in my chest. Your son assaulted mine. You slapped a kid. You crossed every line. She charged at me, heels clicking, bracelets jangling, rage twisting her face. I was ready. Lydia swung, wild and sloppy. I caught her wrist mid-air, twisted it down. Her shriek pierced the air. Let go, she howled, flailing. This is assault. I'll sue you. Ma'am, I said through gritted teeth. You ruined yourself the moment you touched my son. She swung her free hand. I caught that too, spun her around, and pressed her palms against a glass display case. Her designer purse hit the floor, sunglasses clattering beside it. Let me go, she screeched, trying to stomp my foot. I didn't budge. You slapped a child, encouraged your son to attack him, and now you're attacking me in front of witnesses, with cameras rolling. The boutique went silent. The piano music stopped. A sales associate stood frozen, hand over her mouth. Customers filmed, phones raised. Ethan sat on the floor, clutching his knee, but his eyes were on Minute with fear, with trust. I released Lydia. She stumbled, catching herself on the counter, then spun around, venom in her gaze. But the room had shifted. No one was on her side. Mason groaned on the floor. Lydia opened her mouth to speak, but the store manager stepped out from the back, tall, sharp in a navy suit, his face unreadable. Someone explain, he said, his voice heavy. Lydia exploded. This man attacked my son. He assaulted me. A woman filming near the door called out. He pinned you after you slapped a kid. Lydia spun. Who are you? Someone who watched you dig your own grave. The woman shot back. The manager raised a hand. Enough. He turned to a sales associate. Pull the security footage. Lydia flinched. There's no need. There is. He cut her off. Minutes later, the footage played on a wall screen. Lydia marching up to Ethan. The slap. Mason's kick. Ethan crumpling. My calm approach. The takedown, restrained, controlled. Lydia's screams, her failed attack. The silence after the VY Deo was deafening. The manager turned to Lydia. You assaulted a minor, encouraged your son to use force, then attacked a customer. You're banned from this store and all our locations permanently. Lydia gasped. You can't. I'm a legacy client. Your money doesn't buy my integrity, he said coolly. Lydia scooped up her purse and stumbled out, Mason limping behind her. But the real storm was just beginning. By nightfall, the VYD posted by that woman near the door had 400,000 VYUs. By midnight, 1 million. Titled, Entitled Mom Slaps Kid, Regrets It. It spread like wildfire. Lydia's name surfaced. Lydia Hawthorne, HOA president of Willow Creek. Old clips emerged her berating a neighbor's kid, fining residents for VY ollie ties like untuned wind chimes. The internet raged. Local news picked it up. By afternoon, reporters called me. I didn't answer. I sat with Ethan, his knee bandaged as he read comments online. Give that dad a medal. Finally, someone stopped her. Ethan looked at me, unsure. Am I the joke? I shook my head. No, son. You're the reason it stopped. Lydia tried a Facebook Live apology, blaming bullying culture and claiming Mason was defending her. The comments tore her apart. We saw the footage. Your son's a thug. You're worse. That night, the HOA board voted her out as president. Her nameplate was gone by morning. Neighbors left flowers on our mailbox for Ethan. 3 days later, I thought it was over. Lydia's face was a warning label online. Mason expelled from his prep school. But at 9:17 p.m., the doorbell rang, then fists pounded our gate. I stepped outside, Ethan upstairs with headphones on. Through the security cam, I saw Lydia, barefoot, red-faced, clutching a folder. "Open this gate," she screamed. "You humiliated me. You ruined my life." I flicked on the floodlight. She flinched, but kept ranting. "This is a lawsuit, assault, defamation, distress. You ruined your life," I said, my voice like stone. "I just stopped you." She sneered. "Your kind always plays the VY, Tim." Then a voice cut through. "I'm recording," said Mrs. Carter. Our neighbor, phone raised. Mr. Nguyen and the Wilsons joined, all filming, all silent. Lydia spun, wild-eyed. "What are you staring at?" "This is a community problem," Mrs. Carter said. "And we're done staying quiet." Headlights appeared a patrol car. Someone had called. Lydia dropped her folder, cursed, and ran barefoot into the night, mascara streaking. The officers re-VYEU'd the footage gate cam, live streams, audio. "Disorderly conduct, maybe harassment," one said. By noon, a new VY Deo of the gate showdown went VY row. Headline screamed, "HOA tyrant loses it at victim's gate." Lydia's car vanished, her blinds drawn. The HOA revoked her PRI VY leges permanently. Deputies served her legal papers as neighbors filmed. The story went global Spanish subtitles, Thai reaction VY Deos. Lydia Hawthorne became a cautionary tale. But I didn't celebrate. I took Ethan to dinner. He wore his vest, walked straighter, smiled deeper. Across the parking lot, a stranger called. "You're the kid from the VY Deo, right?" Ethan nodded, not shy, not ashamed, proud. Prom night came quietly. Ethan stood at the top of the stairs, cufflinks gleaming, hands steady. "Do I look okay?" he asked. I swallowed hard. "You look like someone who won." He smiled, turned to the mirror, and didn't flinch. His date's car honked. He walked out, not just into prom, but into his life, knowing he didn't have to stay silent to stay safe. Lydia faded. She wasn't mentioned in our home, our street. She became what all bullies become when the lights go out, a ghost. Ethan didn't just serve VYVE that day in the boutique. He learned that you don't win by shouting louder. You win by standing, by staying, by saying enough. And when you do, the world listens. What would you have done if you were in my shoes, let it slide, or fought back? Should Ethan have stayed silent to avoid the chaos, or was standing up worth the firestorm? Is public shaming justice, or does it go too far? Drop justice in the comments if you think respect is earned by character, not cash. Share your story of facing a bully like Lydia. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell. We've got more stories coming, and you might be the next one standing between a tyrant and a kid too scared to speak.